All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry. Well, I guess we're gonna have part two, part one, because somehow this damn thing turned off. So yeah, I'm back. So I was just discussing um, orgasm is a powerful high. It's about half the dopamine units are released as cocaine, and cocaine is a quarter of methamphetamine, and methamphetamine is a very powerful high, to the point where um, methamphetamine is a powerful high. So that it's a quarter, cocaine's a quarter of it. So sex would be jail. Jail suit is not too good. We're already ripping in half. So you might ask why I'm in a jail suit. What happened was Facebook banned me for 7 days, then 30 days. So I want to have pictures for all of my followers, my friends in Facebook, how my last day in Facebook jail. So, but it's very comfortable actually. So I said to myself, why not keep it? Um, so so drugs are the most easiest and the most powerful highs can be attained from them too. But there are other ways to get highs. Meditation, there's all kinds of ways, and people follow them. They fast, they pray, these monks go and discipline, and there's all kinds of crazy things people do to get high. And again, a high is a pleasurable feeling, accomplishment, a great accomplishment. Like many people have their first child, especially the man. The woman's in terrible pain, but the man's like, hey, wow, this is great. I got a son, I've made it. I've reproduced. Now I could die. I've never done it, Too much of an incel, Couldn't get it done. Too inept. But, okay. Now let's go to the classes of drugs. And there are 7. I mean, I don't agree with this. I got this kind of from the internet. I would say this basically. See, I would say, okay, well, let's go through them. I'll tell you how many I think, but I got this through the internet, okay? Now, the first one is stimulants. Stimulants, and of course, stimulants are things that make you, um, make you, make you stimulated, wake you up, right? And so I've listed the stimulants that I have used. And cocaine is one, and I've used a lot of cocaine, and also Ritalin, which is highly recommended. By the way, I'm going to tell you the drugs which I think are good. And cocaine, no good, very expensive, and it's not a good come down. Very bad. I would stay away from cocaine. You can get Ritalin, it's pretty good. Adderall, I've had a couple of panic attacks on this. Caffeine is an excellent come down. It's an excellent source. So wake you up. It's come down. It's not too bad. So I would highly. Oh, I see why. Because they had the mouse pointer around the red thingy. So I see why we're going to have part 2. So caffeine's highly recommended. I like Ritalin, although Ritalin was kind of addicted. I remember I was up for 3 days in a row. I said, it's Korean accountant's office, and I fell asleep in the chair. I almost tipped over. So I think I missed the day of work because I couldn't get up. I was just so tired. So, yes, stimulants could be very dangerous, especially an addict like me. Okay. Okay, the separate category, even though they, and by the way, maybe we'll talk about nicotine. Where does that fall on this continuum? Is opiates. Opiates really, are different because they're really painkillers, but they have a side effect of euphoria. Basically, why do people use opiates? Because they bring about euphoria. They don't use them because they stimulate you. Although I have used them and they have made me very aware. And they do induce sleep, but they do induce like a pleasant sleep, like a very nice. I mean, one thing about opiates I could say is that they're a very dangerous drug because they're probably the best high. I mean, there's no better high than an opiate high. A really good opiate is And once you've tried them, you said, this is what I've been looking for all my life. Cocaine's kind of like that too, but cocaine, after a while, you start to realize it's not a good drug. I mean, because you're always, it's never pleasant afterwards. But after you get off the opiates, you're like, okay, it's nice, you know. No, really. I've never had problems with withdrawal. Once I ran out, I felt okay. Never had. I never had really problems with withdrawal. You know, you feel a little weird. I mean, I've always felt a little weird after you get off of it, but after like a little while, you feel okay. As long as you don't have any around, so you get addicted. That's the key. So the high is really nice. The come off is not too bad. It's a little uncomfortable. You know, even if you're not addicted, it's a little comfortable. But the high is really good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I used to really abuse it, and it might have fucked up my liver a little bit. Of the liver recovered. I used to buy overseas 3 and 4 pills. I had this Dominican at the school I used to work. I had this Dominican maintenance guy. He had a friend who was a pharmacist, and he used to sell me the old pills, codeine 3s and codeine 4s. And I was too lazy to get the time allowance. There's actually a method if you're good enough. So I used to crush up and put them in Kool-Aid. I used to have Kool-Aid drinking. I used to walk around Flushing Meadow Park, and nice spring day. It was really nice. It was like one of the best experiences. Someone left some real strong opiate. Who the fuck knows what it was? I was teaching school. He left. This is adult education. They left it on the table. The guy, the maintenance man, picked it up. He put it on the top, and I took it and went home. And 30 days. And I didn't use it every day, so I used it very unaddictively. So, okay, today's a nice day. What a great experience. So I've had good experiences on the opiates. The fortunate thing is I've never had a ready access to them, which is the reason why I've never had problems with them. And I've had other heroin. I've had a little bit of. I've only snorted it, and I've only never got tremendously addicted to. So it's a very pleasant experience. So opiates to me aren't horrible. Now, of course, we know many people get addicted to it. It becomes a very bad thing. Many people overdose. The key to using opiates, I think, are two things. Never inject opiates into your body, and never use opiates every day. Okay? I even noticed when I've used opiates, especially heroin, and I sniffed it, I noticed there is some kind of withdrawal. So you got to be really careful. They're very dangerous, but they produce a terrific high. So, thumbs up. Thumbs up. I shouldn't say that. Okay, let's get to the depressants now. The depressants are things that bring you down, and sometimes you get really stressed out. This life. I mean, I have a lot of problems with my building. I'm very stressed out. I had to threaten this lady, because she's causing me problems. She keeps on complaining about my apartment, and the fucking supers give me. He's complaining to the management company because they're complaining, and he's complaining to the management company because he has to do something. So, and my stupid sister is calling me because he has a relationship with my sister. It's a long story, and they say, "Oh, they're gonna kick you out of the building." Blah blah blah. So, I'm very stressed out. So what do you do when you're stressed out? Well, you have Klonopin or the benzos. Now, the benzos can be very effective if you have a very short-term dose of them. They're probably the best things you could do. The problem is if you have, like my psychiatrist was not good because he didn't get me off of them. Okay, so they are one of the worst drugs. Depressants are really, really bad. And they're bad because they could bring some terrible symptoms, okay? And my depression, I do believe, was caused by depressants. Stimulants are bad too because stimulants get you the anxiety. How do you get rid of the anxiety? You have to take the depressants, like alcohol and the benzos. So immediately, if I were a drug user, which I'm not right now, or an alcohol, I would cross out 1 and 2. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can do that. Let's see. Ooh. And this guy's not bad. See, this guy would probably still do. Limited doses. Okay. So 1 and 3 are really bad. 1, because it'll make you take has some terrible symptoms. And I'm going to talk about the terrible symptoms in part 2. Okay, so let's go to the hallucinogens. Now, hallucinogens, see, I don't agree with I got this off the internet. To me, 7, cannabis, is a hallucinogen. But the author of the article said it's not a hallucinogen because it also makes you sleepy and also has other physiological effects. It's addictive, which basically is very controversial. Also, I don't like to smoke it, but they say that the gummies, I'm kind of interested in that. I want to try those. But hallucinogens, of course, alter your perception of reality. And I've had some very interesting experiences on marijuana. Although, again, one of the uninteresting experiences I've had on marijuana was paranoia. So I've never been crazy about marijuana. I've always tried it. I kept on trying it because people said, hey, it's great, I love marijuana, but never really was keen on it. So, although I am interested in the gummy, I do want to try one of those because don't want to smoke it though. Don't want to smoke it though. I'm just not interested in smoke. Smoked cigarettes at times. I never liked them, and with beer, and disgusting. So I don't want to do that. So to me, 7 doesn't really exist. 7's a light hallucinogen. Okay, so I don't like smoking them. I only want to try it. Now, what are the other hallucinogens? Well, stronger things like, of course, acid, which are very powerful and could cause lots of problems. The problems are not physiological in the body itself, like heroin could obviously, and the opiates can cause tremendous problems, like overdose, and they can take your heart and make it fall. And of course, number 3, which we'll talk more, which I think is the biggest problem, even worse than 2, but 1 could lead you to take 3. That's why it's very dangerous. 1, but 3 is the worst, and we'll talk more about 3 in part 2. Okay, so and also hallucinogens like LSD and mescaline and mushrooms can lead to mental health problems, and those can be very bad, so that's a bad issue. It's actually something 7 that's probably better than so, because I would group that here. Now 5 and 6, the dissociatives, EXM, which I've used, which is basically cough syrup. You take dextromethorphan, which is the active ingredient in cough syrup, and you make sure there's nothing else, because they have another type of thing which loosens the phlegm. You don't want that. And you drink a bottle of it. And if you really want to be able to drink 2 bottles of it, that gets you kind of, dissociative. You think you see yourself out of your body. I never really felt that, but you feel kind of like woozy, Inhalants actually do the same thing. So 5 and 6 are kind of the same thing. So I don't know why they made the separate category of these 2 guys. They're pretty much the same things. Dissociatives also like ketamine, PCP. I've heard some bad stories about that, but I think they're kind of exaggerated because ketamine and PCP, I think, are pretty much the same thing. So I think they're kind of exaggerated. 7, really, I would put called empathogens, right? See if I can write this. Empath. See if I can think of G. G's a hard word. Okay. And this one probably. Yeah, S is hard. Let's see. Empathogens. You see now? Empathogens, right? So empathogens, I don't know, did I have this up the whole Empathogens are drugs that make you empathic to other people and make you lovey-dovey. And you know the drug. MDMA, or what do they call it? The Mollies, or ecstasy. And not the safest drug, so could be kind of, one of the big problems is you got some, since it's illegal, you have with ecstasy, you have empathogen, which is an empathogen. You have different people doing the production, and they might not be making it correct. So instead of studying how to make it correctly and using it for psychotherapy, you have these different labs, and they can be giving you some bad shit. So basically, my take on drugs is getting high is good. The best way to get high, because getting high is difficult, is to use drugs, but using drugs is dangerous. And each drug has its own risk. Of course, the worst drug is not on here, is tobacco. And tobacco gives you pretty much nothing. And it causes diseases, and it's the most addictive. So you definitely want to never actually pick up one of those things. So my favorite drug is number 2. But number 2 has a very bad reputation. It's really not that bad if used correctly. It's very safe, actually. But if you get addicted to it, it could be very nasty because you need a higher and higher dose, okay? The inhalants are really bad, too, because you can fuck up your brain. The dissociatives, I don't think are too bad, although they're kind of similar to the inhalants. Just so with hallucinogens, you got to be careful because your mental health could be messed up. And the depressants are very dangerous. And one is very dangerous, too. Not as bad as 3, though. 3, to me, is dangerous because it's fucking with your... It's not only fucking with your physical health, it's fucking with your mental health. That's what I'm going to talk about in the next podcast. Okay. Okay. Now some fun. Oh, that's what we got today. Oh. Okay. So, I got 4 finds today. I have 3 other ones for tomorrow, but we need one more. Okay, so I got this DVD, Woodstock Diary. I'm not going to play it anytime soon because collecting stuff for the Woodstock week. I'm looking really forward to that. Pretty good CD. It's 3 hours. I paid very little for it. They got Richie Havens, Country Joe McDonald. It's three nights. Richie Havens, Country Joe McDonald, John Sebastian, Incredible String Band, Bert Summers, Tim Harford, Ravi Shankar, Arlo Guthrie, and Joan Baez on the first night. Quill. Okay. You're telling me that Grand Funk Railroad's not better than Quill. Santana with Soul Sacrifice. I'm looking very forward to that. Can, Teton Mountain, Sly and the Family Stone, Janis Joplin, The Who, and the Jefferson Airplane to close out Saturday night. With Morning Maniac music. And Joe Cocker, Country Joe and the Fish, 10 years after. The band, Johnny Winter, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Paul Butterfield, Sha-Na-Na, and Jimi Hendrix. 3 hours, pretty damn good. It's not even the movie, so you get extra bonus footage on this. It's really a good thing. Okay, got one 8-track tape. Let's see what this is. Oh, look at this. Okay, now. Okay, I know, of course, more than a feeling, everyone says every song in this is great. And again, I don't know. Maybe it is. So I'm going to take a listen to this, and I'm going to see, give it a judging. It's a nice 8-track tape. Let's see. It has like a, let me see. It doesn't have the 1 tag. It has like a little, looks like it's been refurbished kind of. So I'm going to take a listen to this. Okay, see, I got 2 books. Now, Albert Ellis is my favorite author. Late Albert Ellis, died in 93. I think that was 2006. And this is Sex Without Guilt. You might say, well, these days, 2021, but, I still have a lot of guilt about sex. My mother always made me feel very guilty. I don't know what I'm guilty about. Just scared. I don't know. I was very scared about it. So this is a I love Albert Ellis. I love his books, and I just thought I want to get an Albert Ellis book, Sex Without Guilt. Okay. And the last fun for tonight is this is gonna be heavy. Now this guy. Okay, Robert Sapolsky. Okay, well, now Robert Sapolsky is I don't know what he is. He's a genius. He's a neuroendocrinologist. I'm actually seeing an endocrinologist on March 9th, and he's a neuroendocrinologist. He's also a primatologist. He's a man of many talents, and he teaches at Stanford University. And he wrote a book, and the basic premise of the book is when someone does a behavior, what it is, punches you in the face, whatever it is, says something mean to you, does something nice for you, says, listen, I'll pick up the check, or whatever it is. What's going on in his brain 1 second ago? What's going on in his brain a minute ago, an hour ago, or her brain 24 hours ago? What's going on 100 years ago in his ancestor's brain? And back and back and back and forth. A fascinating look at the human behavior, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Fascinating book. I went through the introduction, and what a great writer. And, I've seen many of his, he's just such a great mind. You just wish you had a professor like this. You can look up his videos on YouTube. Robert Sapolsky, those of you who are of our far-right Christian bent, you can learn a little things. You got to give up this stupidity. It's a whole world of it. I know. You want the Jesus. You want. I get it. I mean, I like you people. I really do. I like you Jesus people. I think you're better people than these crazy left-wing people, but they are right about evolution. There's no God. I mean, I'm sorry. I want to help you people. So that's one of my goals, to help you people realize there's no God. There's a whole thing of science out here. This book, see, this is actually facts, right? It's no Jesus floating around. It's a good book. You got to read it, and I strongly recommend it. I mean, this is just science, So I did the introduction. Maybe I'll read it. A very short chapter 1. Maybe I'll read chapter 1 tonight. Get along if you're here. And so it's a very fascinating book. It goes backwards in time from the behavior, whatever was a good behavior, bad behavior, and how we evolved all these behavior. Another word evolved to some of you fundamentalist Christians isn't a word you like, but unfortunately that's a fact. Evolution, science. For hundreds of years, it's Charles Darwin, since he came up with this idea in 1859. This is for a scientific revolution. Now our understanding is unprecedented how the mind works. So you got to go with it. There's no more Jesus and God and God's breath. This crazy fundamentalist guy telling me this shit. So it's time, folks. You gotta come in. They're making us look stupid. These left wingers, they're making you look stupid. I don't want to look. I can't hang out with you. That's the problem. I cannot hang out with you guys anymore. I want to help you. I cannot hang out with you Christians if you're gonna look stupid. I mean, they look smart with it. They're atheists. They're smart. I know they're schmucks and everything else, but you got to give this stuff up. Okay, go to church and you make believe. You say, gee, you got to start studying science. These are facts. Okay. All right. So I'd like to thank everyone tonight, and I hope this is a good podcast. I educated you, and this is February 22nd, 2021. Please comment. Please like the podcast, and I can be reached at thegreatjewatheist@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a great evening.